This is a fan-generated show. If you would like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All your support is greatly appreciated.
Hi, this is Michael Cutler. Welcome to the Michael Cutler Moment. Glad to join you this evening. My program is brought to you by the Glazov Gang. Tonight I want to discuss with you a very important issue. It was the topic, in fact, of a congressional hearing yesterday conducted by a subcommittee of Homeland Security in Washington. It was disclosed that about 480,000 aliens who entered the United States last year with visas or under the auspices of the insane visa waiver program failed to depart the United States. Now think about that number, 480,000 illegal aliens who did not run the Mexican border that we hear so much about. Right now it's estimated that there are at least 5 million such illegal aliens in the United States who were admitted through the front door, so to speak, and then failed to leave the United States when they were supposed to or otherwise violated the terms of their admission. Now, what makes this particularly disconcerting is the fact that the 9/11 Commission, to which I provided testimony, indicated that many of the 9/11 terrorists, as well as other terrorists, at some point after entering the United States, and most of them, by the way, again, did not run our borders, but entered through ports of entry and then went on to violate the terms of their admission. So you would think this would be a major issue for the Department of Homeland Security. Well, at the hearing yesterday, it kind of numbs the mind to imagine this, but it was disclosed that there are over 100 investigators searching for a population of at least 5 million illegal aliens, notwithstanding the fact that the 9/11 Commission made it clear that visa overstays and visa violators were a major threat to national security. Now imagine, we have about 45,000 employees at TSA. We have well over 20,000 Border Patrol agents. We have well over 20,000 inspectors at our 328 ports of entry operated by Customs and Border Protection. We have only about 6,000 or 7,000 immigration agents. Half of them are doing customs work, so we're down to, at best, perhaps 3,000 immigration agents for the entire United States of America. And the number of agents specifically tasked with searching for aliens who failed to leave when they were supposed to, when they were admitted through ports of entry, is just over 100 such investigators. You know, when you listen to these numbers, when you listen to the potential this creates for a catastrophe, it blows my mind. And just yesterday, President Obama said, well, we've got to keep the guns out of the hands of terrorists. I'd like to know what his administration is doing to keep terrorists out of the United States of America. Once aliens enter the United States, most of them can go about their day-to-day business hiding in plain sight using the terms of the 9/11 Commission. They embed themselves. The Assistant Director for Security Investigations for ICE stated that it was tricky and difficult. Those were his words, tricky, to determine whether or not an alien had overstayed the amount of time for which he or she was admitted. Apparently, they want these 100 or so investigators to do armchair investigations, sit in the office and play with the computer. You know, we keep getting stories from this administration about how impossible it would be to really enforce the law. We can't deport 11 million. We even hear that from the Republican side of the aisle. When I was an agent, the way we determined how long an alien was in the United States was to go out and look for people, and in the course of doing business, of encountering aliens and questioning them, we would find them to be here, and we would arrest them. What a novel thought. Actually go out on the street, go out into those ethnic immigrant communities, look for the people who are working illegally, and when they prove to be here illegally, you take them into custody. You develop informants. You create a sense of deterrence because people realize it's not worthwhile running the risk and spending all the money on the smugglers or getting those phony documents at great cost or doing whatever else they did in order to come here if they encounter an immigration agent and find themselves in handcuffs. We arrest almost nobody today. We're told that the immigration laws are unreasonable, that we've got to show compassion. We're showing so much compassion that thousands of innocent people, American citizens and immigrants alike, are being killed every year by aliens who have no lawful right to be present in the United States. And one of the points that was raised at the hearing was that we still don't have an exit system for aliens who enter legally. Now, that's remarkable because although the article in the Washington Times talked about how the 9/11 Commission said that that was a major requirement for national security, in 1996, 20 years ago, a part of the immigration laws were rewritten. And one of the requirements in the rewritten law was that we implement an arrival exit tracking system. 20 years later, still no system. Let's put that in perspective. Could you imagine if FedEx or UPS or DHL was as incompetent as the federal government? They couldn't do business. When we order packages, you know what truck the package is on and how far the truck is from your house. The federal government, understanding that this is a component of national security, is still unable to do something as simple as track the departure of aliens. Over $1 billion, actually it was several $billion, have been spent on this program so far. It was a contract that was originally given to Accenture, a spinoff of the Arthur Andersen accounting firm of Enron notoriety that was given the contract, and they are an offshore company. They are headquartered today in Ireland. When they got the contract, that company was headquartered in Hamilton, Bermuda. Billions of dollars later, many years later, the system is as dysfunctional as anything that you might imagine in your worst nightmare. And the consequence, ladies and gentlemen, is that our security is being compromised at a time when we are greatly concerned, and I might add with good justification, that terrorists would enter our country and carry out terrorist attacks. What our own government is failing to accomplish is to make certain that this very important system has a shred of integrity. Lives are on the line. The clock is ticking. Time most certainly is not on our side. But you know, this is not the first hearing about this. I just wrote an article for Front Page Magazine about the visa waiver program and how 1/3 or more of the countries that is supposed to provide us with up-to-date terrorist information to continue on as members of the program are failing to give us information about terrorists. And yet the programs grind on, Congress keeps holding hearings, and more people are dying literally every single day. This equation has to change. Interior enforcement is the critical issue where the Immigration Service is concerned and the immigration system is concerned. I agree with Donald Trump about securing that Mexican border, but let me tell you, if we don't address the failings of interior enforcement, it doesn't matter what we do on the Mexican border. I want to leave you with a final image. Imagine sitting in a rowboat in the middle of the lake and you find out that your boat has numerous holes in it. One of those holes is called the Mexican border. There are so many other holes that are being ignored. So even if you could plug that hole completely that says the Mexican border, how long will it take your rowboat to wind up at the bottom of the lake? With so much at stake, it's time to stop the hearings and start to get busy. And the next administration to take office needs to hit the ground running. And I have to tell you, listening to Hillary's statements and her supposed promises about immigration, she would only make it worse. I hope Donald Trump wins this election, and I hope he looks at far more than just that porous, non-existent U.S.-Mexico border. We have to fix the system. It's a matter of national security. It's a matter of life and death. I thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Meanwhile, I want to remind you to support the Glazov Gang at jamieglazov.com and make certain to subscribe to its YouTube channel. Thanks again. See you next time.